It's always great to have guests in here, and especially when they just come up from up the road and are promoting something brand new. Got in the studio here this afternoon, Dallas Burrow out of New Braunfels, Texas, coming down. He's on the World Texas Tour, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Are those headphones working for you?
Yeah,
you can adjust them there if you need it.
No, sounds good, man.
Welcome to San Antonio. Welcome to KSYM.
Thank you very much for having me, brother. Yeah.
Well, I guess you've played San Antonio before.
Oh, yeah, some. Yeah. We've done the Lonesome Rose several times, and I've done a gig over at Floors, opened for my buddy Charley Crockett over there a couple of years ago during the pandemic. But yeah, man, so I'm not a stranger to San Antonio, but it's nice to be down here, and I appreciate you having me.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you got a new musical baby you just released.
I do, yeah.
Called Blood Brothers.
That's
and got, I guess, sort of a CD release gig tonight, Lonesome Rose.
Totally, yeah. It's funny, you mentioned the World Tour of Texas. I kind of got the idea. Robert O'Keefe, when his career was kind of starting to take off, he did what he called the World Tour of San Antonio, and he played like 7 nights all across San Antonio, in a row one week, and I think they had their big finale show at Floors Country Store. But I was reading up on Robert Earl. There was a really good article in Texas Monthly not that long ago, and so anyway, when I was thinking about promoting this new album, Blood Brothers, and what I wanted to do, I wanted to play a bunch of shows around Texas, just kind of some of my favorite joints, including the Lonesome Rose. So that's kind of where that whole thing came from.
There you go.
Yeah.
You were doing visual promotion the other day, morning show.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. We're trying to hit it from all angles, man.
There you go.
Yeah. But the TV and the radio and newspaper, wherever they'll let us,
Well, I did read there was a nice review. Was it No Depression? I believe No Depression had a nice review.
They did us a very nice review. Yeah, they really did.
And you're doing well on the radio charts, whether that means anything these days. The Americana chart, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Now,
Man.
I don't know if you're familiar with alt country charts,
Sure.
but you're in the top 10 in that deal.
Yeah, man. I saw that today. I think we're number 6.
That you think? Yeah, you noticed exactly.
No, man. I mean, we were talking. I think radio definitely still has a place, and I'm very excited to be on the charts in those positions.
Let's say you're just one below Jason Isbell.
That's not bad.
See,
that's
go.
not a bad place to be. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now this Blood Brothers release.
Yeah.
This is your third?
It's my third full length LP. Yeah.
I
Record.
tell you what, can you get a little closer to the mic or move?
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Is that better?
That's
Okay.
much better. Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah.
And this one was, I guess your last release was Bruce Robeson?
Yep. Yeah, my second record, which was my self-titled album, was produced by Bruce Robeson. Yeah.
And then this one, Jonathan Tyler.
Yeah, and Jonathan Tyler's up in South Austin, man, and a super cool cat. A lot of fun to work with. Yeah.
So how did you approach this recording group of songs with Jonathan different than maybe the others, or maybe there wasn't any difference to it? It's just what he brought to the table.
It's a great question, and I think it's kind of been a natural progression. My first album, which I did in Nashville, I hired some of the best players I could find in town. Dave Rowe played bass for Johnny Cash, and Kenny Vaughn, and Chris Scruggs, and Sierra Farrell sang on it. And it was like I got the who's who in town, and we recorded.
Never heard of any of them.
Yeah, I know,
right.
I know. And we recorded most of it live, and recorded with a guy named Eric McConnell, and he had done some Todd Snyder records, and so it was really organic, and just the musicianship, the playing was just out of this world, and so that was my first record. The second record I did with Bruce, I wanted to kind of bring it all back home to Texas and work with work with Texas guys and Bruce, his style in the studio is really cool, man. I mean, he's a great songwriter, great producer, and with him, we were recording all the analog tape, and so I mean, analog it was a wonderful experience getting to work with him and recording to tape and all that stuff, and I'm very proud of that record also, and but so it was around the time that I, had just finished recording the record with Bruce, and we're starting to, work on putting it out, that I ran into Jonathan Tyler in South Austin. And he and I just got to talking. We were hanging out. I was out behind Samstown Point.
I was going to say, it's probably Samstown Point.
Yeah, you know it, man.
Mm-hmm.
So there we were. And we just got to talking about, he was asking me, what it was like working with Bruce and what the process was like and everything like that. And I think there's a lot of healthy mutual respect there between those guys. But JT and I just got to talking about, different approaches and stuff. And he'd been putting out some stuff that he'd produced in the last couple of years that I was familiar with and impressed by. He did some stuff with Kelly McQuee, his old girlfriend, Nikki Lane. He did a record on her that was really good and just, his productions, just his style is just, it's, just, I think, a really fresh, current kind of way to come at it, and that he as an artist himself has just got a super kind of hip sensibility about things, and so I realized pretty quickly in talking to him and checking out his studio that I could probably just sort of go in a different direction, which I think with each project it's you're always just looking to kind of like grow as an artist. And so I think it was just cool timing for he and I to run into each other and for that to all kind of organically come about.
Sure. If you just tuned in, we're talking to Dallas Burrow. He's talking about his brand new release, Blood Brothers. Just came out. Was it last week?
Friday, yeah, June 16th. So last Friday, yeah.
Of course, release dates these days. I don't know. Sure. They sort of mean something, but then you're feeding the pigeons usually with singles. Sure. Months before that.
True.
Or something, video. Anyway, so he's playing tonight at the Lonesome Rose and CD release gig to this evening. Yeah. So, and you happen to see you got a guitar with you.
I do, man. I did.
Well, what can you do with that thing?
Well,
buddy?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Give us a show.
All right. Well, we were talking about, the album is called Blood Brothers, and the reason it's called Blood Brothers is it goes back to a story that my dad told me years ago. And my dad's a songwriter and kind of got me into playing music, but he spent time in Nashville and Austin in the 60s and 70s, back when guys like Townes Van Zandt and Guy Clark were, doing their thing. And so one crazy night in Nashville, Dad and Townes and a couple of guys were hanging out. The other ones were Richard Dobson and John Lomax III, who were, all kind of interesting cats. And so late one night, Townes gets the idea that they should all cut their arms and become blood brothers. And so they did. And so my dad is blood brothers with Townes. And so Townes' stuff has always had a big influence on me, for that reason. And so I guess I'll do you the title track, which kind of tells that story. And this is Blood Brothers. Daddy had a scar you wouldn't believe, like a story he kept up his sleeve. 16 years it took to hear that tale. He said it never would have happened if it weren't for the booze. Left the honky-tonk, took a midnight cruise out to the country where the moon was cold and pale. In them Tennessee hills you could hear the night wind wail. Some Texas boys beneath the Tennessee stars, bottle of whiskey and old guitar. There they are, just passing their stories around, digging up songs like ghosts up out of the ground. One of them boys drew a blade, laid out a challenge to accept. On that night there were promises made, and there were promises kept. ringleader smiled as he rolled a cigarette. His eyes grew wide and he made a little bet. He said, blood is thicker than water, as he rolled up his sleeves. Let's prove tonight we're thick as thieves. They made a pact that fate believed. The next day as they awoke in the burning midday sun, the cuts on their arms will remember what they've done. Blood brothers, blood brothers. Now and then, talking about way back when, gets that look in his eyes. And now I know, I don't ask why. One of them boys drew a blade, laid out a challenge to accept. On that night there were promises made, and there were promises kept. Blood brothers, blood brothers.
Yeah, that's Dallas Burrow doing the title cut from his brand new release, Blood Brothers. Hey, it's 6:01. Let me be legal here. You're tuned in to San Antonio College Radio, KSYM 90.1 FM. That's good. That's good.
Thanks,
and you
man.
got a good story to go with it. I assume I should believe that story.
That's what I mean, as far as I know, it's true.
Oh, it's all Dad's fault. I know. I never met Towns, but I don't know if you could believe all kinds of stories.
Oh no, sure. I hear. Yeah, he was.
Or if Towns remembered half of what he did.
He was a man of tall tales for sure. But no, actually, I recently I had breakfast with John Lomax III in Nashville not too long ago, and he corroborated it. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So your dad had a venue, a music venue, or what was it? Just a bar? Or
it was a bar, man. You know, it's funny. It was actually what it was a TGI Fridays. But you have to picture in that day, Fridays was like a neighborhood bar where people would go to hang out.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a Chili's or whatever, you know. But so. And it was down on Elston Place, across from the old Exit Inn, where Towns and those guys would play a lot.
Oh, okay.
And so they'd be coming into the Fridays to just hang out and have beers. And Skinny Dennis had the house band. It was the bass player, and for Guy Clark and those guys, and Rodney Crowell was in and out of there. So it was just a place with those
cast of characters.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Stories too. There's probably a lot more stories than that.
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah, there's a bunch, but yeah, that's one of them though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess we should mention this. I mean, your family's in the music business and in the music venue business now.
Yeah. Well, right. We during while the world was shut down, we took that opportunity to complete construction on a little place we have up in New Braunfels called the Redbird Listening Room. And it's just, it's really like a throwback kind of folk club. Small room, 900 square feet. It seats 60. We sell 60 tickets. But we've had some incredible songwriters since we've been open. We had our kind of grand opening with Dale Watson. We've had Ray Wally Hubbard, Willis Allen Ramsey, Butch Hancock, Bob Livingston. I mean, just Daryl Scott, just some of the greatest.
No, I've looked. I have not been there yet, but it's house concerts still happen.
Sure.
But then someone's not going to do a house concert every night, as where you've got at least your Fridays and Saturdays are usually booked way in advance, and sometimes Sundays also.
Yeah.
With people that are traveling around that probably would do a house concert. It's basically sort of the same house concert sort of feel.
Kind of, yeah.
To the deal, sort of, right?
I mean, yeah. It's
in a way.
It's certainly, yeah.
It's a listening room. It's a songwriter. It's
right.
Yeah.
No, it's a similar spirit of of a house concert. It's I always when I'm welcoming people in, I always kind of give a little tip of the hat to the Old Quarter in Galveston,
sure,
where Townes famously recorded his Live at the Old Quarter album. And of course, there's the Bluebird in Nashville. I also grew up going to the Cheatham Street Warehouse in San Marcos, where Kent Finley had a songwriters night, and which still, they're still carrying on there on Wednesday nights, and it was the first place I ever saw people get shushed, in reverence of the music, and it left a big impression on me, and so that's all those places kind of helped inspire what we do over there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's folks. If you just didn't catch that, that's the Redbird Listening Room.
Yeah,
Braunfels.
Yeah,
got a website, and they've got some serious people coming through town.
For sure.
That San Antonio doesn't really have that availability. That has a venue that's strictly like that.
Right.
Like I say, there are house concerts,
sure,
and more than I even know about. There seems to be another house concert popping up every now and then.
Yeah.
But like I say, you can. You've got the venue.
Yeah.
If I had a house concert, I don't think I'd be doing it every Friday and Saturday night. That's for sure. Not me.
It's it's quite an undertaking, but I find it really rewarding. I mean, I feel like we're kind of helping to contribute to the culture of the town and the area, and create opportunities for music fans to see great artists, and for artists to play for great fans.
And
yeah,
some of those guys,
yeah,
like if Daryl Scott's just cruising by himself,
right,
he probably would just bypass San Antonio altogether if there's not a venue.
Right.
And I'm sure the word's gotten out with that group of artists like that singer-songwriter, more acoustic shows.
Sure.
Word gets out, and check out the Redbird Listening Room.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. It's surpassed all of my expectations. Honestly, I wasn't sure from the outset how it would go, if it would even work, and. We came out the gate really strong. I mean, we were able to kind of sell out our first couple of shows, and we've been rolling ever since, man. I mean, it's funny. Like I was in the midst of making that record with Bruce Robeson when we were kind of completing construction on the project, and Bruce he gave me some good insight. He was like, man, you'd be surprised who you can get to come play. People want to come play. So that that gave me some encouragement.
Well, that exactly
right.
They just don't know the place to play.
Right.
Because I know some people have contacted me, and I'm friends with folks at Sam's Burger Joint. But Sam's Burger Joint, for a guy with just a guitar, that's probably not the best venue for that.
Right.
And it's a great sounding place, but more intimate setting is where a lot of these people shine.
Right. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Up close and personal. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, so I just want to let people know, I always forget.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking to Dallas Burrow, and you're tuned in to KSYM. Dallas has a new release, Blood Brothers.
Mm-hmm. He's
got a CD release gig tonight over at Lonesome Rose. Fill me in on the details on the gig.
Yeah, man. So really excited to be at the Lonesome Rose tonight. My buddy Garrett T. Caps, does a really good job over there. It's his place, and it's just a cool spot, man. It's it's a classic kind of throwback honky tonk. I think sound is great in there. Over there, it's I think they kind of like semi-kiddingly call it the oldest honky tonk on St. Mary's Strip.
Yeah, exactly.
It's because I hadn't been there that long, but
it's been very he sort of wanted to make sort of like San Antonio's Whitehorse, sort of.
Totally. No, I think that's it's a good analogy.
And the community supporting it.
For sure. No, it seems like it. I mean, so I've played there a few times, and I've loved it since the first time I did. And but yeah, so it's going to be a fun show tonight, man. We're going to play the early slot, actually. So we're going to go on at 9 or 9:30 with my band, and I've got a killer band. My buddy Chad Pope plays slide guitar, really kind of a blues guy, and super super cool, unique guitar player. I've got a young lady by the name of Katie Shore playing fiddle with me now.
Yep.
And she's
killer.
She's real good. She was with Asleep at the Wheel for like 8 years.
You think, yeah.
And so, she it's been super cool having her play with us. My buddy Sterling Finley, my old friend Sterling, who's Kent Finley's son, plays bass in my band. And, he grew up around great songs. So, it's I'm honored to have him playing with us. And my friend Cameron Martin is our drummer. Young guy, really good. So, anyway, that's my band. And we'll play from like 9:30 to 11 or so, or something like that.
And then
My friend Nikki Diamonds is playing the late set. And Nikki's great, man. He's a San Antonio guy. So
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should know about Nikki, man. I met him. We both were on the schedule on the bill out at the Luck Reunion up at Willie's Ranch back in the spring during South by, and that's how I got to know him. And he actually came up and played at the Redbird leading up to the South by gig out at Willie's place. We have a songwriters night on Thursday nights. So, which is it's like an open mic format, but you have to have original songs, and so that's the whole deal. So he came up and performed at a songwriters night, and so we were introduced that way, and we were both scheduled to play out at Luck, and so we just got to be buddies. And he's really good, man. I mean, like especially when he starts doing his blues stuff. Man, it gives you the chills. It's the real thing. But he's great. He does like cowboy songs and all kinds of different stuff. So
cool.
Yeah.
So it's a good night of music over at Lonesome Rose.
Yeah, man.
We're talking to Dallas Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing tonight over at the Lonesome Rose CD release party. If you like what you hear, he's got vinyl.
Yeah, man.
He's got this old school CD stuff.
Yeah, man.
And I bet he has some other merch too.
Got it, man. I got T-shirts, all koozies, all that stuff.
And the next time he's coming through, it'll be the new T-shirt tour. It's always got to have a new
something.
Charley does pretty good with merch sales.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, dude.
Speaking of Charley Crockett, you have a co-write on this CD.
I do, yeah.
And you like co-writing together? Or have you done much of that?
He and I have got a few that we've done. We did one called The Poplar Tree. It was on, I don't know, I think it was Welcome to Hard Times.
Yeah.
And then we did this one, Only Game in Town, which was on his album Music City USA. And he and I we met up in California, up in NorCal about almost 10 years ago now, and been buddies a long time. And we're both kind of Texas guys, we're into the blues and stuff like that, and so we kind of hit it off when we met, and we've just always been pals, and so sometimes it, when like for instance with each of those songs I mentioned, he was just trying to gather songs for his next record, and had part of an idea, and would just shoot it over to me, and I'd work on a verse, send it back. With this one that's on this record, Only Game in Town, he had the chorus and most of the chords, and it was a gambling song, and that's kind of in my wheelhouse. Just like, especially being kind of a student of Towns in a way. Towns, like Mr. Mud and Mr. Gold is, arguably one of the best gambling songs ever. So he knew I was into that stuff, and I wrote a few verses, and I was excited that he kept them all, because a lot of his songs can be pretty short, and for him to sing 3 verses is a lot of words. So it
ain't bad to be Charley Crockett these days.
He's doing it, man. Yeah,
no kidding.
Yeah.
He's working his butt off, but it's paying off for him.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's enjoying it. Exactly. Mm-hmm. All right, speaking of when you mentioned gambling songs,
yeah.
I had on my notes here talking about that video that you did out at Luck, Texas.
Yeah.
Where pretty much most of your band guys play these varmints in the saloon, right?
Yeah. Outlaws, man. Yeah, cowboys, outlaws. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, so when we were scheduled to play out there, the Luck Reunion takes place in an old western town, basically, that's built on Willie's Ranch out there in Spicewood. And so, it occurred to me, and it was kind of a long shot, but I have an old friend of mine that's involved in putting that whole thing on, and so I just took a shot in the dark and asked him if there's any possibility that we might be able to film out there, and it was kind of one of those things like, well, we got to check with Willie's wife and kind of stuff. But anyway, so I wrote up a little proposal, and it all luckily turned out so that we could do that, and I'm very thankful to the Nelson family and to the Luck family for letting us do that. But it's cool, man. It was kind of a little, just like shooting a little Western.
Yeah, you have all the intros and the graphics and it's very cool. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah. My friend Corey Morrison is the videographer up out of Dallas, and he's really good, man.
Turned out good, and that's for the song
"Only Game in Town," which is that one. Yeah. Charley and I wrote. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Do one more live for you, and I'll let you head out to
cool.
load in at the Lonesome Rose.
Sweet, man. Well, thanks again for having me on, Dave.
Sure.
Man,
exactly.
Nice to be here. Since we're talking about gambling songs and all that, I'm gonna do this one, this town song that's on the record, and this is Mr. Mud, Mr. Gold. Well, the wicked king of clubs awoke. It was to his queen he turned. His lips were laughing as they spoke. His eyes like bullets burned. The sun's upon a gambling day. His queen smiled low and blissfully. Let's make some wretched fool to play. Plain it was, she did agree. He sent his deuce down into diamond, his four to heart, his trade a spade. The three kings with the legions come. Preparations soon were made. They voted club the day's commander. Said give him an army, a face, a number. All but the outlaw jack, a diamond, and the aces in the sky. Willie gave us seven's first instructions. Said, spirit me a game of stud. Stakes unscarred by the limitations between a man named Gold and a man named Mud. A club filled gold with greedy vapors until his long green eyes to glow. And Mud was left with the sighs and trembles, watching his hard-earned money go. Well, flushes fell on Gold like water. Tens they paired and they paired again. The aces only flew through heaven, and the diamond jack called no man friend. The diamond queen heard of Mud's ordeal, began to think of a long-lost son, fell to her knees with the mother's mercy, prayed to the angels, everyone. Well, the diamond queen, she prayed and prayed. The diamond angel filled Mud's hole till the wicked king of clubs himself fell face down in front of Gold. Well, three kings come to club's command, but the angels from the sky did ride. Three kings upon the streets of gold, and three fireballs on the muddy side. The club queen heard her husband's call, but Lord, the queen of diamonds joy when the outlaw in the heavenly hall turned out to be her wandering boy. Well, Mud he checked, Gold bet all. Mud he raised and Gold did call, and that smile just melted off his face when Mud turned over that diamond ace. Well, here's what this story's told. You feel like Mud, you'll end up gold. You feel like lost, you'll end up found. So amigo, lay them raises down.
Yeah, open up my mic. Yeah.
All right.
Doing a Towns tune there, Dallas Burrow. That's a track from on the new release, Blood Brothers, which you can get tonight over at Lonesome Rose. Okay, give me your contact information.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
not your phone number or anything,
Sure,
but
yeah. 86. No. So anyway, let's see. Yep, you can find all the things going on in my world at my website, which is just dallasburrow.com. It's Dallas, DALLAS, Burrow, BURROW.com. And follow me on Instagram at Dallas Burrow Music, and on Facebook. I've got a band page and a personal page, all that stuff. Those are the best places to keep up with me, really. So,
there you go. Yeah. There you go. And gig time is what time tonight?
We hit it about 9 o'clock, 9:30. I'll go on, and then my friend Nicky Diamonds and his band will play about 11.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. sounded good, man.
Hey, I appreciate you.
You and JT did okay.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Twiddling the knobs, if there are knobs anymore on that stuff.
There's a few knobs left, yeah.
It's not all a mouse.
No.
Not totally all a mouse.
Yep.
Anyway, good.
Well, thanks for having me.
And I'll give you a good review for Angela.
Cool. I appreciate that.
His radio promoter.
Right.
So.
She's awesome, by the way.
There you go. She is. Mm-hmm. Anyway, thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thanks.
All right.
I'm going to finish up with Wild Bill from the latest release. Anything set up to that?
Man, it's a Jerry Reed style barn burner.
There you go.
Yep.
Let's see if we can burn this barn down.
Let's do it.